So will England change their ways, given the nature of the last two Test defeats in India? Earlier, I spoke to our chief cricket writer, Stephan Shemilt, who explained to me what changes they might make for the next Test, which starts on Friday.
The damage had already been done on that third day. It was very similar to what happened in Visakhapatnam. England collapsed in the first innings there. It was also really similar to what happened in the second Ashes Test at Lords, when England were responding to Australia's total. Nathan Lyon got injured, and it was obvious he wasn't going to play any further part in that game. But England collapsed on that occasion as well and found themselves 2-0 down in an Ashes series. On that occasion, they did improve, they did learn. They could have maybe won the Ashes had it not rained in Manchester. So can England now do the same thing in India? We know India have got such a formidable home record. They've not lost a home series since 2012. But England are still in this contest. They're 2-1 down with two Test matches to play. Can they learn from the mistakes of the past two Tests going into that fourth Test in Ranchi starting on Friday?
And could that response come in perhaps the way that they look at the bowling attack? Maybe are there questions around maybe selections around that? And what do you think that any change in personnel might sort of bring really for the next Test and for the other Tests to come in the series?
Well, certainly England have had to work very hard in this third Test in Rajkot. They have been in the field on every day of the match. So that means fast bowlers in particular, like James Anderson and Mark Wood, have had to suffer in the heat, and it's reached 35, 36 degrees in Rajkot over the weekend. It has been sapping, draining for the England bowlers and the England fielders, and there is a short turnaround to the fourth Test in Ranchi. That begins on Friday. This was the first time in the series that England had picked two seam bowlers. They'd gone for three spinners and one seamer in the first two Tests, so that might be another option in Ranchi, depending on the pitch. Shoaib Bashir could come into the equation. And if England want to freshen up their bowling attack, they've got Ollie Robinson and the uncapped Gus Atkinson, a bowler who's got a lot of pace waiting in the wings. One thing that would help Ben Stokes straight away is winning the toss, because so far in this series, the three Test matches have been won by the side that have won the toss and batted first. Now, clearly, that's not something that England can control, and they might have to win a Test match and get themselves back into the series batting second. They did have opportunities to win both the second and third Tests from batting second, but Ben Stokes calling correctly at the coin toss, that would be a big help in Ranchi as well.
Yeah, certainly would. One other word on Yashasvi Jaiswal as well, who you mentioned earlier, Stephan. What a return for him for the fourth day, effectively returning with a vengeance. You know, that double century, a world record for sixes, or equaling a world record for sixes too. I mean, what a performance from him.
At 22 years old, he already looks like a multi-format superstar of the global game. This was his second consecutive double 100. Only two batsmen in history have made consecutive double 100s at a younger age. He came back on the fourth day and dismantled England to move to 214 not out. He effectively made two separate centuries in the same innings without being dismissed. It was a breathtaking display of batting. At one point, he hit three consecutive sixes off James Anderson. Not many batters do that to Anderson. And you're quite right to say, if England are going to get back into this series, they are going to have to work out a way to get Yashasvi Jaiswal out. And at the moment, that is much easier said than done.
More from Stephan Shemilt out in India on the latest TMS podcast, where Jonathan Agnew is joined by Phil Tufnell and Michael Vaughan reacting to the result in Rajkot. It's available on BBC Sounds.